If he's permitting them to blatantly disrespect you in front of him, that means that he's talking about you to them while you're not around.
Hi, this is Monica and welcome back to my channel. Like, comment, and subscribe. And today I wanted to touch on something that I have been seeing like on TikTok and stuff like this. Is when did you first know that men is also bitches too? Okay, it's like I said, like, comment, and share this video or whatever you're going to do, because we're going to talk about it, girl. Because listen, the first time I originally knew that men could be bitches too is that I remember I told y'all about the narcissist. Well, 2 years into our relationship, he would like do little shit and say little slick shit, and I would let it pass. But then when the neighbors start saying the exact same thing or knowing more of our business than I knew of our business, then there was a problem. But because he had programmed me to not pay attention to the bad and kind of overlook it, I kind of bypassed it. But looking back on it now, I know that there were signs there that I should have noticed, but I never did. So I'm gonna give y'all some examples of what I'm talking about. Well, this particular time, me and him had got into an argument. We was like 2 years into the relationship. Me and him got into a really bad argument. But when we got into an argument, it was a lady. Remember, I told y'all, the girl with the 2 babies was across the street. Froghorn was down the street. But he had his best friend stay catty corner from my apartment. Her mother had came over to the house. And I should have caught on then. If I had caught on then like I caught on now, I would have never went for it. But this is what happened. She came across the street and she was like, Monica, she was like, I don't know why you putting up with his shit. I'm like, oh, okay. I said, I don't know either. I said, but sooner or later he's gonna lose me. And I said, when he do, he gonna lose me to the little shit that's going on in this neighborhood. I said 9 times out of 10 it's the environment, and I blamed the environment for most of the problems that me and him was having, but it wasn't the environment, it was me. And when she was talking to me, she just kept making reference to how he was wrong and how he would say little stuff, and the little stuff that I didn't see, she would kind of a little bit not really mention it. But this one particular time, she was like, Monica, I know you get paid on Thursday. This is a woman that I never told anything about my life. This is a woman that I never told when I got paid, where I worked at, or none of this. So when she came at me and said, well, I know that you get paid on Thursday, that means he was talking out of my house. And I had brought this subject up to him when I had seen him 3 days later. Okay, she was like, well, I know you get paid on Thursday. Now watch how it is. He ain't been here all this week, but I bet you he'll be here Wednesday going into Thursday. I said, no, he won't. She was like, yes, he would. No, sure than shit. He was there on Thursday. So that means he not only did he tell her, but he had to tell everybody else, because it was certain times that I should have picked up on and I didn't. But looking back at it now, I know that I should have. But what can you do in a situation like that? What would you do in a situation like that? Like, I can remember when I got ready to get into it with those girls, they would say little stuff like, that's why Curse's daddy don't want to be with him, and that's not really his baby, and little stuff like, your mom and them don't come up here because they don't like him. And it was just little shit that I noticed that he would, like, that the people around us would just mention, and they was mentioning it not to be nice, they was mentioning it to be nasty. So I don't know why they chose me, but at the time I didn't choose me. So me and the girl across the street, now let me tell you about that. It was like maybe about 8, 9 o'clock. I had my front door open, but I was sitting on the couch, and the way that my door was made, you couldn't see out of my screen door to see where anybody was at. So it was like 9:30 going on 10 o'clock. I'm sitting there watching TV, minding my own business. All of a sudden, I hear 2 people arguing, passing words, and this. So automatically, that was going to make me stand up and go to the door. But when I stood up and I went to the door, it was him and the girl across the street. They were into it. And when I say they were into it, He even realized that my door was open, so he kept telling her, shh. But she kept telling him, like, when you gonna tell her? When you gonna tell her? When you gonna tell her? Like that. She was like, that stupid bitch. She said, the only reason why you over there is because she got a job. The only reason why you over there is because she buy you beer. The only reason why you over there is because you need her. She don't need you. And when she was saying this, I just looked over across the street and I looked at him. He took off running down the alley. When he took off running down the alley, she caught herself getting mad at me for coming to the door. So when I came to the door, the first thing come out of her mouth was, I don't know why you want that sorry ass nigga. He over here all the time. While you at work, we laid up. While you at work, and this. I kept thinking, like, why ain't he saying nothing? Like, why wouldn't he, like, attempt to even protect me against all this stuff that was going on between him and this woman across the street, foghorn down the street, or anything like this? But then I kind of blew it off because by me being older than what she was, I wasn't getting ready to be out in the street arguing a fight with her. I wanted to argue and fight with him. So I was going to wait good and ready till he ran his ass right back around that corner, and that's when I was going to let his ass have it. But instead, he didn't. Stayed away for like 2 days. Now keep in mind, the lady across the street had already said that he was going to spend the night with me on that Wednesday. He didn't. He didn't spend the night that Wednesday or that Thursday. He didn't come back for like 3 weeks, damn near. Because I know he was down at Foghorn's house. But at the end of the day, I knew that I was more wrong than what he was because I allowed him to do it. But he didn't just tell his friends, like, when I got paid. He told his friends, like, stuff like if I got trouble at work, or if I didn't have enough bus fare to catch the bus, or if I had to walk home, or stuff like that. Stuff that they should have never knew, or stuff that he would say to me, how many days he would be gone, and all this other stuff. So I could never figure out how these people who didn't even know my last name knew what was going on in my house. But I never thought that he would actually, like, sit up and talk about me to these people, but he did. Not only did he talk about me to these people, he downgraded me to these people. He made it so that he gave them a weapon against me to, he gave them a weapon to use against me. That's what he did. He gave them a way that if I said something wrong to them, that they would have something to say back to me, and it would hurt my feelings. Like, I had pneumonia. I will never forget. I had pneumonia. I was friends with a girl down the street that had like 6 kids. I gave her the key to my house because I knew that they was going to keep me at the hospital. She got Curtis on and off the bus, and she made sure that my apartment was clean. Not only did she make sure my apartment was clean, she made sure stuff stayed running, because I stayed in the hospital maybe about 6 days. But she would come by the hospital, make sure everything was okay. She'll bring Curtis to see me and stuff like this. Now, when this was going on, I also had adult chickenpox. Well, it was only 3 people that was up there in the projects that knew what was actually wrong with me. That was him, her, and my aunt's boyfriend. I thought that she was the one that told everybody that I had adult chickenpox, but it wasn't her, it was him. And what he was doing, he was actually making fun of me. And how I know he was making fun of me, because the girl that I said that I gave my key to and stuff, she was outside. Him and his friends was across the street from her, but she could hear everything that they was talking about. And she heard them tell him, that not only did I have adult chickenpox, that I had caught pneumonia, that I was spotted. He said that I looked like a Dalmatian, and all this other stuff. She recorded it on her phone. So when she came to the hospital, she let me hear it. And it hurt my feelings so bad that when I got home and I confronted him about what he had said and how he had told these people about me and being in the hospital, the only thing he could say was, what are you trying to hide it for? Motherfuckers knew you wasn't in your goddamn apartment. You had this bitch running in and out, this. So he actually got mad at her for telling me for letting me hear what he had said. But I think that I was more embarrassed at the fact that I called you my man, and you took it upon yourself to be more loyal to them than you was to me. which at the time, I didn't understand like why he would have done that. But he made fun of like my car getting caught on fire, people breaking in my house. I was getting ready to move. And I had 2 sets of washers and dryers. I took the first set and I took it to the apartment. But the second set, I was going to come back the next day and get it. Do you but know, he told me somebody broke into that apartment and took that other washer and dryer. And at the whole time, it wasn't that. He had the key. He let them in and he gave them my washer and dryer. And that came out when, and the way I knew that was that the girl across the street and the best friend got into it. When them two had kind of was like arguing or whatever the case may be, they was arguing, and I had came to see what they was arguing about. And the whole time that they was talking, she was like, you fucking him and da-da-da-da-da, and you doing this with him, you doing that with him. But it was about him. Them two was arguing because they both was sleeping with him. And when I came around the corner, the first thing came out of her mouth was, Monica, I hate to tell you this. She was like, but the reason why he ain't been at home and this, he's been living with me and this and this. This is the best friend whose mom stayed catty corner from me. She stayed down the street, like kind of like 2 blocks away from my apartment. Her apartment was in the same complex, but down the street. But when she was saying this stuff, I looked over at him and all he could do was laugh. With him, here it is, my feelings was hurt because I had gave this person my all. And yet it's still, even though he was messing with all these females and he was doing what he wanted to do, he still found a way to like make it my fault. Like it was my fault that these girls was making fun of me, or it was my fault why he was cheating on me, or it was my fault why he made me feel like I was like nothing. I don't know. Maybe I don't know if I'm saying that right. I don't know. But I didn't think, like to this day, I find it very like disturbing that men gossip as much as women do. And when you have a man and your man is talking out of your house and telling people not the good stuff that's in you, but the bad stuff, and he's pointing the finger while they're pointing the finger, that's not your man. That's not your man. That's somebody else's man. And I didn't figure that shit out until I left him completely alone. When I left him alone, it hurt him so bad that not only did I leave him alone, but I left him alone for another woman. And I think it only made him feel bad because he wanted to be the winner in all of this. But when these people was saying stuff like church services had been called on me and stuff like this, when they were saying all this stuff about me, he was standing right there. He never, not once, defended me against these people, and I never understood why. Why didn't you just speak up? Why didn't you say, well, this person, she works every day, or she keeps her house clean, or she keeps the clothes washed, or she keeps the bills paid? None of that mattered. At the end of the day, all that mattered was that he looked like the good guy and I looked like the asshole. That's what I think. But I think that was the time that I realized that men really are bitches too. They are. They really are, because some men are bitches too. Not all men, but some of them are. You know, I don't piss nobody off, but if you sit and if you're gonna cheat on somebody, you don't need to give them the bad stuff while you want to cheat. Just cheat. That was my thing. If you're gonna cheat, cheat. But don't cheat. Don't use me as your stepping stone to get closer to them. If you wanted to get closer to them, that's what you do. But you didn't. You know what? I don't think it was right for him to use me as his stepping stone. So yeah, I do think that, you know, some men do have female traits, and some men gossip like females do. And if some men gossip like females do, then that's just one thing. Some men are bitches too. So I will see you in my next story. See you later. Bye.